Ah, all right. Couple things, people. Couple things I want to share with you. And again, as I said before, I erroneously began without the microphone being adjusted properly. The concept of happiness. So, elephant in the room. I'm currently in Key West, Florida. Um, and of course, as I'm known to do, my mind begins to race as I encounter certain environments, unique environments that are missing certain elements that I am accustomed to. One being black people. Black people. Um, where are they? Where are they? In this environment, it's obviously uh, quite expensive in nature. This is the most I've ever paid for a hotel room, the most I've ever spent on a vacation, and for great reason. COVID has made it nearly impossible to operate the way I'm accustomed to normally, and so I definitely don't take it for granted the opportunity to take leave. And so with that, I'm going all out. I'm going all out for um, the rest of my leave or what have you. But with that, of course, in this environment, I'm paying attention to certain factors, and I ask myself, how did I even get here in the first place? And of course, through the grace of God, but also the Air Force, the military, my job. All this costs money, and so with that, I'm made aware of the fact that what I'm experiencing now is temporary in nature. I'm on leave, but of course, with that, uh, this opportunity was afforded to me because of where I work and the way I spend my money, manage my money. I'm able to be here and to operate in this environment. Going jet skiing in about an hour or so, so I'm not going to be here long. But yeah, just a couple things that when I was in Alaska for the last 6 months, uh, I was unhappy, and to this day, I'm still dreading going back, going back to Alaska. I don't want to go at all. I have no desire to go back to the state of Alaska. Um, it's been below zero for the majority of the winter. Here it hasn't dropped below 60 for the most part. Even last night, it was just amazing weather. This morning, I walked to the gym. Amazing weather. The vitamin D that my skin is absorbing, it feels amazing. Um, the Coast Guard's down here, the Navy's down here. You have the locals, and then the people that are just tourists, or those who actually live here. Um, I acknowledge, my privilege to be in this environment. But even beyond that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and it's situations like this that I'm currently in that it brings kind of a new meaning to the Air Force and the struggles that I have, with certain parts of the military. I was talking to a gentleman last night. We was on the boat, supposedly looking for dolphins. I've been on 3 dolphin tours, and I have yet to see a single dolphin on any of them. So there's that. But yeah, I was talking to this welder from Michigan, and we got to talking, whatever. And he was mentioning how he has his like 2 or 3 days of leave, or vacation days that he's on right now. Then he'll go back, and he has essentially 2 weeks per year, and then he'll be working like another 2 years before he gets like a third week or something. It was something wild in regards to his leave compared to my leave. And I told him I was here for 24 days, 20 days or so, and it blew his mind. He was like, "That's amazing." I posted on Twitter a while back the value of having a low debt to income ratio, having a low overhead. I don't have a ton of bills. It's me. I'm not supporting children all over the place, and I'm not paying alimony, and I'm not dealing with gambling debts and the effects of alcohol or drug use. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in the position I'm in. But with that comes great responsibility. With authority, when you have authority, that means you also have responsibility, which means your decisions need to be quality. And I'm grateful to just have mentors around me that have guided me to this current position. Even joining the military, joining the Air Force, there's certain amenities and certain benefits of joining and being in my current position that have allowed me to get to certain places. And at no point, like, again, this vacation has been far from perfect. The night before, what was it? Last night we stopped in Marathon, Florida, on the way here to Key West. So it was like an hour away. It was, all right, we'll stop at one of the resorts, and it was far from it. It was a glorified trailer with the name resort glued on it. The balcony was 2 feet off the ground, hardly a balcony. My patio is a patio, but at least I could see the ocean when I wake up. So obviously, we were quite disappointed in what we paid for in advance and what we reserved, and you know, it, the energy kind of dropped, and I caught myself. I caught myself almost going into one of those "woe is me." I'm pissed. I spent $400 on this, hotel, and it's trash in here. Like it's far from luxury. Far from luxury. We could have stopped in Miami if we wanted luxury. Why did we come here? Um, and I almost caught myself getting pissed off. And then I realized I'm not in Alaska. I'm on leave in Florida until the 12th. I'm grateful. And immediately my mood shifted. Everything shifted. Everything I saw, I left my hotel room early. I got a mustard the night before, walked down to the water, swung in a hammock. Obviously, I made the live video yesterday. But I sat in the hammock and I just looked at the ocean and the colors and the palm trees. And I said, it's worth it. Yes, there are different ways of getting towards, vacations. And it's not about vacation. It's not about spending money or, luxury items. It's about the option. The option. You guys know I'm obsessed with having an option to do something. The option. At any given moment, I want to be able to choose. And it made me understand that, the position I'm in currently, and again, there's many paths to get to where you're going. It has nothing to do with Air Force, nothing to do with your particular path. But I have to acknowledge that just about any path you choose, you have to realize that happiness is a luxury. And that to attain such happiness and to maintain that takes work. And that work may not always be, in the clouds. Alaska is far from my cup of tea when it comes to states that I would want to live in, or, locations, regions. It's above Canada. It's cold. It's vacant. It's empty. It's just vast. When I come down here to a place like that, I see the Coast Guard, and I'm like, bro, they're stationed in Key West. The Navy. Like, is this how y'all live? Is this how y'all live, bro? I'm up here in Alaska taking L's. I made those videos about, happiness, about problem solving as far as reasoning for going in the military, and how what I'm experiencing now is a small little snapshot, 25 days or so. I'm in Florida. Any of you could be stationed in Florida, so it's really not that deep. But when it comes to, your ability to choose in a given moment, it kind of brings in perspective of how I paid for this, how I even had permission to come here, how I was able to afford all of this. It brings meaning, and again, meaning being the key word in regard to happiness, how you're able to quantify it, if that's even possible. Happiness comes from having a source of meaning. And the Air Force, the military as a whole, obviously the Air Force is one of the lighter branches when it comes to workload or physical toll. It has its own set of problems. By no means do I diminish the Air Force as a whole, Space Force, in relation or, in comparison to the Navy or the Marines or the Army. We're not out there wrecking, what have you. There's some career fields that may be on the ground, but for the most part, it's a lighter branch. But by no means is it always easy, So, of course, while I'm down here, I'm constantly reflecting on the fact that I'm only here because I was able to find some source of commitment, motivation while I was in Alaska. And that in Alaska is what authorizes this. I couldn't come here 4 years ago and do what I'm doing now. I had to pick something, that forces me to grow, that's uncomfortable, The military, it's not a place you go to be rich. Even if you're an officer, you're not going to the military to become rich. I didn't volunteer for Alaska. I volunteered for worldwide with hopes of going to somewhere exotic. And for some people, Alaska is a dream destination. It's not for me. The point being is that if you're joining the military with hopes of everything being what you see in the commercials, what you see, in a very, talentedly edited vlog, you may be just disappointed. Keep those expectations in line with reality. That, a leave vlog that I edit, versus a day in the life edit versus what really happens, there may be a lot of context missing. And that a lot of us join the military and we're in a rush to live this lifestyle that we think exists, and it's not there. The military, it's a very valuable environment. Trust me when I say that. The amount of resources you have access to, the amount of people that you're able to meet and network with, the free education in comparison to getting student loans that you're paying off for God knows how long. I noticed a lot of people are hoping that it gets forgiven. And trust me, I'm hoping that my credit card gets forgiven and my car note gets forgiven. We all want debt to be forgiven, but that's not how debt works. So obviously, a free education, it's invaluable. But just keep the right mindset, when you enter the military, that, you get yelled at, you get told to work on a weekend, you get told to work 12, 16-hour day, come in on a Sunday, you get told to manage a program that is backed up years and it's trash and the foundation was never built, and that you have to rebuild this whole program. You got to manage it yourself. You get told to do something that's not your job. Someone talks to you in the wrong tone. The happiness, the morale that we speak of, that may or may not be out of your, well, I'll say this. I'll say this. Morale is not your leadership's responsibility. It's yours. It's yours. Your happiness is not the military's responsibility. I was reading a lot of comments from last year, and a lot of you were speaking of how you were planning on joining this year. Well, here it is. Here it is. Talks of vaccines, and right now, Allison is giving out the vaccine. I got a text asking me if I want to take it. I was like, not until it's mandatory. I'll take that thing when it's mandatory, whatever. But there will be a lot of things that are out of your control, a lot of things you don't like, and that's what you're signing up for. And then, of course, you get some things back. You get the free education, you get the resources, the more or less guaranteed paycheck, the entitlements. The 30 days paid leave per year is one of my favorite things about the military. Probably my number one thing I love about the military is the 30 days paid leave. And for the most part, I work a regular job. My hours are from 7:30 to 4:30 for the most part. I've worked one weekend in my career outside of deployments where you work 6 in 1 or 3 in 1. The different schedule, it depends on where you're at, what you're doing. But for the most part, I work 8 hours a day. I work a desk job. I type, send emails. And some people may have, seemingly subjectively harder jobs. Again, focus on what your mission is, what your focus is, what your path is, what you need from the military, and let that be your driving motivator. I come to this environment, trust me when I say this, I come to these environments just to absorb and to watch and to observe and to learn and to study. These environments are sacred down here. Private islands, yachts, there's a certain demographic that lives down here. And I'm here to expose myself to it. That's my whole point. The Air Force is not a source of happiness for me. It's a source of resources. It gives me the ability to come to these places and observe and to see things I've never seen before, to see yachts up close. I'm not supposed to be in environments like this organically. I come here intentionally. This hotel, it looks normal, but it's $600 a night. That hurt. Trust me, I'm not supposed to be in these type of environments where I'm just enjoying myself and just spending and living on the edge. I don't own a jet ski, so I shouldn't be riding one. I'm about to go ride one. Like, you feel me? Like, certain things are not organic to me and my family and my ancestry and the way I grew up. But I force myself into these environments and it hurts, but I do it anyway so I can expose myself to it and say, these different amenities, this lifestyle is available, and someone during a pandemic is living like this. Trust me, it's packed down here. People are spending money. People have money. There's a certain demographic, I mean, honestly, there's many different, demographics that live differently than what you see on social media. You see a lot of people on social media where they're just struggle and give us help, and we need stimulus money, and we need this. Not everyone's in the same boat. Some people are down here on yachts. Down here, you don't really notice that there's a pandemic. Like, people got masks on, but at the bar last night, no one's wearing a bar. Like, I mean, nobody's wearing a mask. People's turning up. Not everyone is in the same boat. So you realize that there's a certain way of life for some people. And of course, some people will go to privilege, entitlement. Maybe if I was born the way they were born, maybe if I had the family they had, maybe if my father was rich, maybe if I had a silver spoon in my mouth, I could live like that. My mind goes to, that's available for a human. If there's a black billionaire anywhere, that says it's possible for me. It may not be highly probable. The numbers may not match, but my work ethic will fill in the gaps. I'll try. And the unhappiness in the Air Force that I experienced, the moments where I don't want to be there. I don't want to be in Alaska. I don't want to be sitting at my desk. I don't want to be dealing with numbers that, I hate adding up. And I mean, I like finance. Those single moments, I'm reminded of this moment on making this video and the energy I have currently. And they help each other. It's why I always encourage people to take leave. Take your leave, but use it intentionally. Don't spend leave at home and on the couch at home. Spend your leave out and about, exposing yourself to the lifestyle you want to live. This ocean right outside my house, or my hotel rather, I chose this intentionally. I wanted the third floor, second floor, got first floor, close enough, whatever. It is what it is. It could be snow outside. I'll take it. But there are people that live like this every single day. This hat I'm wearing, Alphalete. Shout out CG. It's encouraging. It's why I wear it. It's why I went to Alphalete in Houston. So I went back to San Antonio to where I graduated. Like, those single moments, again, is what I need. 4 years in. Some would say I might have 16 years left. It's my responsibility to find the meaning, to find the source of commitment, find the source of motivation. But it's my responsibility to remain happy. Even if I don't get to take leave. This might be the only time I get to take leave until 2022. The last time I took leave was this time last year. I was in LA, Vegas. Still editing that vlog. But that's where we're at. That's my mindset right now, as far as, especially while I'm on leave, is to just study this environment, enjoy myself, stay present. Of course, I'm documenting. You see me. You already know what it is. I'm documenting. But happiness comes and goes. It's like money. But the in-between is the commitment, the direction, the vision, the goals, the 2:30 a.m. I'm playing a lot of catch up. But that's what I have to do. I'm not waiting for anybody to come hand me a ticket to anywhere, to hand me, a paycheck. We try. That's the whole point. Trying. And at no point will we say, woe is me, the entitlement, I deserve this. You should have gave me this. No, I don't deserve anything. I said this last year on the balcony in Vegas. I don't deserve anything. I'm entitled to nothing. Even in the military, I'm entitled to nothing. I'm grateful. Here in Florida, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for vitamin D. You hear me? Sunlight. It is what it is. I already know what we on too. Starbucks. Look at these questions real quick. See if we got any questions here. Happy New Year's, everyone. How many days do I have off typically in a year? It's around 30, give or take, depending on how much you use, how much you lose. There's plenty of variables there, but typically you accrue about 30. Happiness comes from within. Interesting. I can't say I agree or disagree. Does happiness come from within? I don't know. I feel like that statement is the right one to say. It's like the cliche statement, happiness comes from within. Like, it sounds good, but if you really think about that statement, what does that even mean? I don't know. Vegan Philosopher says, hello, I'm currently struggling to pay bills. I am graduating with a degree, but I have had no luck finding a job. I'm 30. I have no support or money saved up and about 50K of debt. Do you think the Air Force is, I'm guessing you were going to go with a solution? Yes. So, or you said worth looking into. How many hours? Okay. So yeah, I've been there. And what's worse is that, you went the path that most people thought was the right path as far as getting education, getting a degree, and this economy is testing everyone. Clearly not everyone, because some people are out here, living it up. My only advice is go where the stability is. It may sound like a safe answer, but again, 4 years in the grand scheme of life, that's not very long. 4 years is not a long time. And if that's what you need to get stability, then do so. But this is where it really comes down to living in reality. Which one is more valuable to you? Do you value just accruing the debt, but staying in the market of where your degree is and hoping that you might get a job there? That's one option. There's the Air Force or the military option where you gain that financial stability, but you may be doing something that's not in your career field. But you might have the chance to go officer. Who knows? You might get a return on investment for your degree. You have options. Here's a question I always ask: which option gives me more options? Which options, breeds more or better options or different options? I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money or, what path to take. But again, wisdom is predicting the outcomes. 4 years in the military is not going to hurt you. And of course, you get the resources that come with it. During a time of a pandemic, I'm not telling anybody to run to the safest, option. But stability, it seems like that's what you value right now. It's just stability. You just want a job. And again, military is it's not a life sentence. So, the Air Force might be the option to go with. Contact a recruiter. Just consider your options, especially with your degree. If I would try to get in with your degree as far as going officer route, at least so you get a return on investment. You're getting the higher pay based on your degree. It may not be in the same career field, but at least the degree might be able to translate into some funds that can help you with your debt. That's my thought process. Try to get a return on investment on that degree as soon as possible, because obviously with student loans, and I don't know if you have that, but 50K in debt, most of these debts accrue interest. And so as long as that interest is accruing, you're still digging. So stability is what you want right now. So yeah, the Air Force is a great opportunity. Yep. Jeff Bezos made billions during the pandemic. Some people benefit from it. Some people see the pandemic as just, tragedy and obviously with people dying, there's no good that's coming out of that. I can't think of one benefit of someone dying. But in times of tragedy, especially in regards to the economy, There's some people who are well diversified or, architects in such environments where they benefit from tragedy. They see it as an opportunity. That's the difference between certain mindsets and certain decisions is that, some people weather the storm in a yacht, and some people are in a little dinghy, whatever, kayak, which is the whole point of decision making, is to make a long-term decision that keeps you during both times of peace and turbulence. That's what I'm working on. Night X shot, I would have to disagree, kind of. So you said happiness is a chosen mindset. You made very valuable points on it. It's an option you choose to maintain. I agree to a point because, first of all, I believe happiness only takes place in your mind. It's not something. It's a perspective, but I also feel like it could easily slip into delusion when you're ignoring reality to try to remain in a place of happiness, which again, nobody knows what happiness is. It's just a rush of hormones, basically, a bunch of chemicals in your mind, and it equates to happiness. But nobody knows what happiness is. It's the label we slapped on this chemical reaction in our body, that told us, hey, this is what's going on. Let's slap this label on it. I feel like there are certain times where you won't be happy in a given moment, but you must address reality. You must stay in tune with reality. And sometimes when happiness is gone, when motivation is gone, commitment takes over. Discipline takes over. And I feel like discipline is what you might be alluding to, more or less. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's what I mean, is that in those moments where happiness may not be there, you may not be motivated to do what you're doing, but you have that discipline that even in this time of turbulence, I'm still going to do the right thing. I'm going to get up. I'm going to do what I need to do as an adult, address the chaos in my life. Discipline might be the term that at least I'm trying to point towards. What else we got? I'm going to get off in a second. If you get out of a debt contract, do you know if you're able to re-enlist in the Air Force or if that opportunity is totally gone? I don't know. That's a question for your recruiter. I get the impression that that's a rash decision being made, whether it already took place or not. Check your decision making. Check your long-term decision making in regards to the path you're currently on. If you need the military to get where you're going, if it's a stepping stone to get where you're trying to go, be very careful with your decision making, especially in something like a debt contract or debt program, where you can't just opt in, opt out. All right, I want to go. I don't want to go. I want to go. No, that's not how that works. So check your decision making. What are my thoughts on Air Force Special Forces? It's something I want to do, but I won't do. Looks cool, looks fun, and then there's the reality side where perception is done. I perceive it to look fun and look like a video game, and then there's the reality. So it really just comes down to what your reasoning for even wanting it is. Special Forces for any branch is not. It's not meant to be a video game. You have one life. You don't get 3 times to get shot and then you just kind of take a little, and then you keep going. No. So your reasoning needs to be intact. Well founded, well grounded. When you go approach a career field such as that. Same thing with like a cop or a firefighter. Like, again, there'll be moments where you have to address death head on, straight up. And death does not pull punches. And so, that's not something you want to rush into. But it's also something to consider. Some people are built for it. Some people are designed fundamentally, like intrinsically. That's their calling. So it's not for everyone. Not for everyone. Daryl Green asks, why do we throw away food when there are people dying of hunger? Because it's quite simple. There's a cliche saying, and I mean, it's not really cliche, but it's said a lot, that, you don't miss something until it's gone. It's something I always think about. Like, there'll be every now and then I'll be drinking a bottle of water. I'm like, oh, that bottle of water was good. And then I'll just thank God that I had clean water, that I took a shower this morning, king size bed, the small things that we have every single day. And again, I'm not trying to preach to anyone, but yeah, I post on Twitter constantly about, these things that we like. Same thing. Perfect example. Pandemic exposed a lot of things that we just thought was normal, that will always be, such as going to a restaurant, going to a bar, traveling, just hopping on a plane. The fact that we can't leave the house without a mask on, has brought new meaning to what we deem normal. Me living in Alaska, I have a newfound love and affection for sunlight, just because we have 20 hours of darkness now. Certain things you won't value until it's gone. Your parents, family, friends, loved ones. Certain people, certain things will not be valued until it's gone. And sadly, that's the state of a lot of our realities, that we have this sense of entitlement that we've kind of replaced with vulnerability, or the inverse of that. We replace vulnerability with entitlement, that we have to lose things. We have to experience tragedy and destruction in order to have any value for something that's just every day. A hurricane rips through the city, and all of a sudden now we just wish we have a warm shower. So it is what it is. Some people operate in gratitude. Is my goal. It's my commitment to operate in gratitude as much as I can. I don't always do it. There's some moments I just I drift slowly right into, I wish this, and woe is me, and I wish I could have that, and I deserve it. And we all have our moments. We all have our moments so that we lose track of what matters. But it is what it is. Some people have to learn via regret. Some people, just have more time to show gratitude in those small moments. So that should be your focus. Seek gratitude. All right, a couple more questions, and I'm done, because the sunlight is calling me. I'm about to go out there and say what's good. Interesting thoughts, Daryl Green. So yeah, I'm done here. I'm done here. I just want to share some value. I was watching some Gary Vee this morning, and every time I watch Gary Vee, it's typically on vacation, and he always just encourages to provide value. Provide value. That's what this channel has been built on, is giving. I don't ask. If people need something, they have a question, they'll go to the links in the description. But for the most part, I don't ask for anything. I don't advertise. I don't, and do this and give us a like and subscribe and hit the bell. No. If people want to do something, they're going to do it. If people want to leave a comment, they're going to do it. They want to ask a question in the chat, they're going to do it. People know how to work YouTube by now. So YouTube is not it started in 2005? YouTube is not this new platform like TikTok where people are still discovering new things about it. For the most part, it's been the same. People know how to work it. So trying to build on just giving, providing value, trying to solve problems for others. And in return, I typically get what I want by default, just because the equation works. You give, you typically get back, especially when you give without expectation. So that's the video. Just want to show some love to y'all. Hope this stream was, I'll have to check it out and review, just see if the quality held up. I hate using hotel and road Wi-Fi systems, but we'll have to address that on a later date. Jordan asks, any vlogs coming this year? Yes, I am recording now. I record all my vacations, all my big moments. But yeah, I'm still editing vlogs from 2019, so I am embarrassingly behind. I have this whole let me show this to the people. Let me show it to the people. This is like 8 terabytes, and I think it's full of 5 terabytes. But yeah, we're working on it. I don't believe in outsourcing so much my editing. I love the editing process myself, although it takes forever to do. But it is what it is. Want to be a YouTuber? Well, here it is. Make content. So the live is always my favorite version of providing value, is going live. Love it. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all later, and I will see y'all in the next video.